Hello students, in this module we will learn about force experienced by a current carrying conductor placed in the uniform magnetic field. A current carrying conductor behaves like a magnet, and since it behaves like a magnet, it produces its own magnetic field. When a magnet is placed in the uniform magnetic field or in the magnetic field of some other magnet, then it will experience some force because one magnet attacks or repel the other magnet. Now the question is, on what factors does this force experienced by a current carrying conductor depends? So to understand that, I will give you a formula which is not included in your syllabus. But if you try to understand that formula, if you learn that formula, it will be much easier to understand the concept of force experienced by a current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field. So force on a current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field is given by the formula F equals to IBL sin theta. This formula has not been included in the syllabus, but if you learn this formula F equals to IBL sin theta, it becomes easier to understand this topic, where F is force on current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field. I is current in the conductor. B is strength of magnetic field. L is length of conductor. And theta is the angle between the direction of current and magnetic field. Now, force on a current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field is given by the formula F equals to IBL sin theta, where F is the force on the current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field. B is the strength, sorry, I is the current in the conductor, means amount of current, magnitude of current in the conductor. B is strength of magnetic field. Length, L is length of conductor, and theta is the angle between the direction of current and magnetic field. Now from this formula it is very clear that force on a current carrying conductor depends upon these many factors. Force depends upon current flowing in the conductor. Force also depends upon strength of magnetic field. Force also depends upon length of the conductor, and force depends upon angle between the direction of current and magnetic field. Now the question is, how does force depends on these factors? So force is directly proportional to I, means force is directly proportional to the amount of current flowing in the conductor. On increasing the amount of current in the conductor, force will increase and vice versa. Force is also directly proportional to the strength of magnetic field. On increasing the strength of magnetic field, force will increase. And on decreasing the strength of magnetic field, force will decrease. Force is also directly proportional to the length of conductor. On increasing the length of conductor, force on the conductor increases and vice versa. Force is also directly proportional to the angle between the direction of current and the direction of magnetic field. So force depends on these four factors: amount of current, strength of magnetic field, length of conductor, and angle between the direction of current and magnetic field, and is directly proportional to all these four factors. So to increase the force, you can increase any one of or all of the four factors. Now there is a question, how can we change the direction of force? What are the methods to change the direction of force? So direction of force can be changed either by changing the direction of current or by changing the direction of magnetic field. There are two methods to change the direction of force. Either you change the direction of current or you change the direction of magnetic field. If you change both the two simultaneously, there will be no change in the direction of force. That's why I said either you change the direction of current or you change the direction of magnetic field. If you are changing both at the same time, there will be no change in the direction of force. Reason being, suppose force is initially in the north direction. When you change the direction of current, it will become south, in the south direction, and if you at the same time change the magnetic field also, then again from south to north, so the force will remain, the direction of force will remain unchanged. But if you change either current or magnetic field, the direction of current or the direction of magnetic field, the direction of force will be changed. Another question is, what is the maximum value of force and when it is? Now, if you keep three factors constant, current in the conductor is kept same, strength of magnetic field is also not changing, and length of the conductor is also fixed, then you can see force is directly proportional to angle. And maximum force, for maximum force, as you know, the maximum value of sin theta is 1. So F maximum will be I B L when theta is 90 degree, so that sin theta that is sin 90 is 1. In this condition, the force on the current carrying conductor will be maximum. Now the question is, what does it mean theta is 90 degree? It means when the angle between the current and magnetic field, that is the angle between the direction of current and the direction of magnetic field will be 90 degree, then the force on the conductor will be maximum. Now, the current is flowing in the conductor and the direction of current is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. It means the conductor has been kept perpendicular to magnetic field. In other words, the force on the current carrying conductor will be maximum only when the current is placed, the conductor is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field. Because in that condition only the angle between the direction of current and the direction of magnetic field will be 90 degree. So the force is maximum when the conductor is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field. Next is when the force is minimum. So as you know, the minimum value of sin theta is 0. So F minimum will be 0 when theta is 0 degree, so that sin 0 is 0. What does it mean? It means when the direction of current is making an angle of 0 degree with the direction of magnetic field, then the force will be 0 degree. 0 minimum. Now, the current is making an angle of 0 degree means the direction of current is parallel to the direction of magnetic field. And again, current is flowing in the conductor. It means when the conductor is placed parallel to the magnetic field, then the force on the conductor is minimum, and that is 0. Another question: what is the rule to find, to determine the direction of force on a current carrying conductor? Now, direction of force on a current carrying conductor placed in the magnetic field is given by Fleming's left hand rule. Force, as we know, is a vector quantity. It has magnitude as well as direction. The magnitude is given by this formula, F equals to IBL sin theta, and direction of the force is given by Fleming's left hand rule. So we will try to understand Fleming's left hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule is used to determine the direction of force on a current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field. It states that stretch thumb, forefinger and middle finger perpendicular to each other, then if forefinger is indicating the direction of magnetic field, middle finger is pointing in the direction of electric current, then thumb will give you the direction of force on the current carrying conductor. Now, this is a conditional statement. Once again, I am repeating. It states that stretch thumb, forefinger and middle finger in such a way that they are perpendicular to each other. If forefinger is pointing in the direction of magnetic field, middle finger is indicating the direction of current, then thumb will show the direction of force on the current carrying conductor. See, we are using 3 fingers in this: thumb, next to thumb is forefinger, and next to forefinger is middle finger. Now, thumb corresponds to 4, forefinger corresponds to magnetic field, and middle finger corresponds to current. Now, once again, to make you understand, thumb, forefinger, forefinger, and all are perpendicular to each other, middle finger. Clear? Forefinger, again I am telling you, it corresponds to magnetic field, it corresponds to current, and then it will correspond. This is a conditional statement. Thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your left hand. This is the left hand. So, thumb, forefinger and middle finger. Middle finger which is in between. 2 are on the right side and 2 are on the left side. So, this is middle finger. Next to middle finger is forefinger. At last is thumb. Or from here, if you start, this is thumb, this is forefinger, this is middle finger. So, we have to stretch thumb, forefinger and middle finger perpendicular to each other. All are making an angle of 90 degree with each other. This angle is 90 degree, this angle is also 90 degree, this angle is also 90 degree. So, stretch thumb, forefinger and middle finger perpendicular to each other. Then only if forefinger is in the direction of magnetic field, thumb is in, middle finger is in the direction of current, then only thumb will indicate the direction of force. So, by Fleming's left hand rule, we can determine the direction of force on a current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field. Once again I am telling you, it states that stretch thumb, forefinger and middle finger of your left hand in such a way that they are perpendicular to each other. If forefinger indicates the direction of magnetic field, middle finger shows the direction of current, then thumb will point in the direction of force. So, corresponding to this, these quantities are, and a very easy way to learn is FBI. F for force, B for magnetic field, I for current, and if you start from here, force, magnetic field, current. Thumb is always corresponding to force, forefinger is always corresponding to magnetic field, and middle finger will always correspond to current. So, this is. Now, one important topic is which makes the use a force on a current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field is electric motor. Electric motor. Very important topic. Electric motor. Electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. I repeat, electric motor is a device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. Now the next question is, what is the principle? Principle of electric motor is that when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field and if it is free to rotate, then it starts rotating because current carrying conductor placed in magnetic field experiences a force whose direction is given by Fleming's left hand rule. Now, what is the construction of electric motor? What are the important parts of electric motor and what are their functions? So, this is very easy to understand. I have drawn the diagram. So, ABCD is the armature. P and Q are split ring, X and Y are brushes, so one by one we will discuss all the parts. First is field magnets. North and south are the poles of field magnets whose function is to provide a strong magnetic field, and the direction of magnetic field is this. This is the direction of magnetic field, north to south. Second is armature. Armature is a rectangular coil ABCD of insulated copper wire wound around a soft iron core. The ends of this rectangular coil, they are connected to the inner surface of two halves of a ring which is known as a split ring. So P and Q are the two halves of split rings, and you can see the end of this coil ABCD are connected to the inner surface of the split rings, and inner surface of the split ring is insulated, and it is attached, means it is fixed on this axle. This is axle. Now the combination of the three, axle, this split ring and the coil, it rotates all together. All the three rotates together in the same direction. Next, the function of the armature is to increase the power of motor, clear, and to increase the power we can have the more number of turns of the insulated copper wire. Next, P and Q, slip rings. Slip rings. As I told you, P and Q are the two halves of a ring called split rings, not slip, split rings. Since the ring is divided, that's why it is called split rings. So P and Q are two halves of split rings, and the function of a split ring is to change the direction of current in the coil after each half rotation. Now how the direction of current will be changed, I will explain you. But the important function of split rings is to change the direction of current in the coil ABCD. Next, brushes. X and Y, this square type, this which I have shown in the diagram. These X and Y are carbon brushes, clear. The outer surface of the split ring is conducting, and brushes provide the electrical contact to the split rings. Very important part is battery. The function of battery is to provide electrical energy, because the function of the electric motor is to convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. So battery provides the electrical energy which is to be converted in mechanical energy. Now once again I am telling you, see, north and south, these are the field magnets. The purpose of the field magnet, or the function of the field magnet, is to provide a strong magnetic field. Clear? In commercial motors, we are using electromagnets whose strength can be increased or decreased as per requirement by increasing the current. ABCD is a rectangular coil wound around a soft iron core. Its function is to provide more power to the motor. And to increase the power, more number of tons of insulated copper wire are taken. By increasing the number of tons of insulated copper wire, we can increase the power of motor. The ends of rectangular coil ABCD are connected to the inner surface of split rings. The inner surface is insulated and attached to the axle. Axle along with split ring and coil rotates together. The outer surface of the split rings are conducting and are in contact, are touching the brushes. X, Y are the carbon brushes. Its function is to provide the electric contact to the split rings. Battery provides electrical energy. Now, in simple words, if you are unable to understand what is the meaning of providing electrical contact to the split rings, as I told you that brushes are providing electric contact to the split rings. Its simple function that the brushes, they collect the current from the battery and supply it to the coil through split rings. As I told you, this part is movable. Coil, axle and split ring. Now the coil is placed in the magnetic field in such a way that R, AB and CD are perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. For example, suppose this is the direction of magnetic field. Then, and suppose this is the rectangular coil. This duster is the rectangular coil. So this is A, B, C, D. So it is placed. This is magnetic field. So it is placed like this. So AB and CD, you can see they are making an angle of 90 degree. Now, so this is all about the different parts of electric motor. Now the very important thing, how does it work? How does it work? Working on the electric motor. This you need to understand. See, as I told you, suppose this is north, this is south, magnetic lines of force are from north to south, and suppose this is the duster, this is A, B, C, D. So, and this is magnetic field, direction of magnetic field. Clear? And as you can see, current is flowing from A to B. This is A. In this direction, current is flowing. Now, on this side, what will be the force? 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 This we need to understand. To what will be the force? As I told you, the magnitude of force will be given by F equals to IBL sin theta. What will be the direction? So, see, as I told you, this is the direction of magnetic field. You can see the arm BC and the arm AD, they are parallel to the direction of magnetic field. And when they are kept parallel, it means force on them is minimum, which is equal to 0, as explained you in the previous article. Now, since these two arms AB and CD, they are perpendicular, so force on these two arms of the coil, this is the coil ABCD, on these two force is 0, on these two the force will be maximum, because the angle is, current is flowing in this direction, and this is the direction of magnetic field, angle is 90 degrees, so force on these two arms will be maximum. So this is about magnitude of force, but what about the direction? Since on these two B to C and AD the force is 0, so force is applicable on AB and CD only. Now we need to understand what will be the direction of force on these two arms. To determine the direction of force, we will make use of Fleming's left hand rule. Clear? So to apply Fleming's left hand rule, what I will do, I will stretch thumb, forefinger and middle finger perpendicular to each other. Clear? Now see, if you consider this, direction of current in the arm AB is A to B. So this is the way. Direction of magnetic field is in this direction. This is. So this way, this you can see, this is the direction of current. Current is flowing like this. This is. Magnetic field is this. So force is acting downward. Force is acting downward on AB. Now what about CD? C. Current. This is current is flowing from C to D. It is moving like this. This is, and direction of magnetic field is same. Force is upward. Force is upward. So since, as I told you, that the whole diagram has been plotted in the same plane, but actually this plane is kept perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. Suppose if this is the condition, suppose if we consider that these two dusters are poles of magnet, then, and this is the coil, then coil is kept like this. Coil is in this plane. So magnetic field is this, and suppose if this is AB, BC, CD, D. So if on this force is acting downward, and if on this side force is acting upward, so it will rotate like this. That is anti-clockwise. If you understand that field is like this, another to make you visible and you can easily understand. Suppose this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. So current is flowing like this, here like this, and this is the direction of magnetic field from bottom of the pen to tip of the pen. So as I told you, this is C, direction of current. This is direction of current. This is magnetic field. So thumb is indicating downward force. Now on this side, C, this is the direction of current, C to D. This is magnetic field. So thumb is indicating force upward. So what will happen? This will start rotating because it is free to rotate. So since this is pushed downward and this side is pushed upward, so it will start rotating like this. Right? Clear? And due to inertia, it will complete half round. Now when half round C, from C to D, now CD has reached at this point and AB has reached at this point. So after half rotation, what will happen? D will be at this point, C will be at this point, A will be at this point, and B will be at this point. As I told you that when force acts, a couple is formed. A couple means two equal and opposite force whose line of actions are different. So force is on this, force was acting initially downward, on that side upward, so it starts rotating the coil. Due to inertia, it completes half rotation. But after half rotation, what happens? See, now their position have been changed. Since I told you that these ends are connected to the slip rings, so when the coil is moving, slip rings are also moving along with the axle. So this slip ring has reached this point and this has reached this point. Now in the AB, initially the current was flowing in the upward direction, but since the polarity of the battery is fixed, so current is passing through. Now in the CD it will be upward and in the AB it will be downward. And since it is upward, again by the same, here it is C, here it is D, here it is D, current is upward, here it is A, this is B, this is A, current is downward, again C, D to A current is flowing. Direction of current D to A. So this is the direction of current. Magnetic field is in the direction. Force in the downward direction. So now on CD force will act in the downward direction, and in the same way A to B current is flowing, B to A downward. See, this is the direction of, this is magnetic field, this is thumb. So force will act on AB in the upward direction. Now since AB force is acting upward, so now it will. So because of this, as I told you, what is the function of a split ring? Since the position of a split ring has been also changed along with the coil, so the direction of current in the previously in CD the current was downward and in AB the current was upward. But after half rotation, you can see in CD the current is in the upward direction, and in BA the current is in the downward direction. So the function of the split ring is to change the direction of current after each half rotation. And since the current is changed, the direction of current is changed in the coil after each half rotation. So coil continues to rotate in the same direction, that is anti-clockwise. So this is the working of electric motor. Now power of electric motor can be increased by the factors which I told you in the module. The commercial motors, they are powerful, clear? So in commercial motor, instead of permanent magnet, we use electromagnet. As I told you that magnet is required to provide strong magnetic field. This arrow is not given in the diagram. It is just to tell you that the direction of magnetic field is from north to south direction. Then we can increase the number of coils in the armature. We can have more number of coils of insulated copper wire. Finally, we can use the soft iron core. Soft iron core on which the coil is wrapped is called coil, plus core is called armature. So this is all about the electric motor. Very important 5-marker question. What is electric motor? What is its principle? Please explain its construction and working. So it is complete 5-marker question along with diagram. Now it comes to assignment. In text exercises, page number 231, question number 1 to 3, and page number 233, question number 1 to 3. So now you are in a position to solve these questions. Please solve these exercises. See you in the next module very soon. Till then, stay safe, stay home.